electric scooters are in abundance now, but most of the fast ones are only fast on perfect road conditions. If you hit a hill or hit rough ground, they most likely suddenly feel out of their depth. Well, this one's meant to be different, and it certainly looks it. This is the KuKirin G2 Master. This rugged beast is very much a performance-first scooter. You've got dual 1000 watt motors, a 52 volt 20.8 amp hour battery, a claimed 70 kilometers range, and up to 60 kilometers an hour on paper. So yeah, on the spec sheet it looks like an absolute monster. But I guess the real question is, does it actually feel solid and confidence inspiring when you're riding it? Or is it one of those scooters that sounds amazing online and then turns into hard work to live with? Well, let's first start by unboxing it. So unboxing the G2 Master, the first thing you'll notice, this is certainly not one of those scooters you can pull out with one hand. It very much arrives like a proper machine. It has a bit of heft to it. Inside you've got the scooter mostly assembled already, and the usual bits, your charger, manual, some tools, and the parts you need to finish it off. However though, mainly all that's required of you is to simply attach the handlebars. That's it. Now as mentioned, the first time you pick it up, you will immediately understand the trade-off with a scooter like this. Because it is heavy. At a weight of 33 to 35 kilograms, it's not something you can casually carry around. If you're in a flat with stairs and no lift, you really need to think about that. Even lifting it into a car boot, you're properly aware of the weight. It's not an easily maneuverable option. It's also quite a big unit, roughly 126 centimeters by 59.5 by 131.5, and that's when it's fully up. And to be honest, that size is exactly why it feels so planted when you're riding it. One thing that does help a bit is the folding design. It's a proper one button style fold down, so once you've got the knack of it, you can drop the stem and get it into a much more manageable shape for simply chucking in a boot or tucking it in a hallway. And to be honest, I do appreciate that, because at least you're not wrestling with some awkward mechanism while the thing's trying to tip over on you. But it doesn't magically make it portable. Even folded, you are still dealing with a heavy, bulky lump of a scooter, and carrying it any real distance is kinda tiring. It is more meant to be transport only than actually carrying it around as a portable option. I do like the adjustable handlebar height as well. I'm just over 6 foot and I was able to get it set so I didn't feel cramped. Once it's dialed in for your height, it actually changes the confidence of the ride. You're not hunched over it and you feel more in control, especially when you start using the power properly. Now the ambient lighting on the scooter is actually a decent little touch. I know lights on scooters can sometimes look a bit silly and overly gamer-like per se, but these have been done fairly tastefully. They will help with visibility slightly too. The headlight and overall visibility at night are genuinely there. Now, I wouldn't rely on it as your only visibility. You'll still want reflective gear if you're riding it in low light, but it's better than the basic one tiny LED you get on cheaper options. Now the cockpit is pretty straightforward. Big display, clear enough to read at a glance, and it gives you the essentials: speed, battery, mode, and so on. I actually like the display size because it's not one of those tiny little screens you can't see in daylight. This one feels a bit more higher end. Control wise, the main thing is how it handles modes. You've basically got the option to run single motor or dual motor, and you've got different speed levels, and that changes the whole character of the scooter. Single mode makes it feel more sensible, still punchy, still plenty of torque, but it's not constantly trying to launch you forwards. Dual motor though, that's where it turns into a proper little rocket. It just feels eager all the time, and you really notice how much harder it pulls the moment you open it up. I would certainly be very careful about using dual motor mode. You really need to ensure you've got the conditions to do it. This thing is pretty punchy. So in normal urban riding, what I noticed straight away is the G2 Master feels stable. That matters more than people think. Some scooters can be quick but pretty twitchy, and you don't have the confidence to trust them fully. Thankfully, this one feels more planted just because of the stance, the tyres, and the suspension doing its thing. The 10-inch tyres help a lot there. Potholes, bumps, rough tarmac, it doesn't magically float over everything, but it's not punishing by any means. You can roll over bad surfaces without your hands going numb. And in single motor mode, it's actually quite manageable for day-to-day riding. You still get enough pull to move quickly from junctions, but it's not constantly trying to launch you. Having said all that though, rough paths and a bit of off-road riding is actually where this scooter starts to make the most sense. I think the G2 Master has a real advantage over a lot of cheaper, faster marketed scooters. Loads of them can hit a high top speed on smooth tarmac, but the second you take them onto anything uneven, gravel, broken pavement, dirt tracks, they really start to feel nervous. You get that twitchy steering, the deck feels like it's skipping across bumps, and you end up slowing right down because it just isn't comfortable. With this one, it feels like it's built with that in mind. The wider stance and heavier frame help, but the main difference is the front and rear hydraulic suspension. And in my experience, it's not just there for the spec sheet. It genuinely takes the harshness out of rough ground. You still feel the terrain obviously, but it's more of a controlled thud rather than a sharp jolt right through your hands and feet. I've ridden it over gravel paths, uneven dirt, and some pretty patchy surfaces where a normal commuter scooter would feel horrible. And to be fair, it stays surprisingly composed. It doesn't feel like it's bouncing out of line, it tracks straight, and you're not constantly fighting the bars to keep it settled. Now, it's not a mountain bike replacement, you still need common sense. But for a scooter in this price bracket, it handles mixed terrain pretty well. And I think that's a big part of what makes it feel worth owning. Now, it hits 30 kilometers an hour ridiculously quickly, and on a decent straight on private land, I've seen it push up to the 50s without sounding like it's struggling at all. And that's the thing, it doesn't feel like it's screaming to get there. It feels like it's got more in its reserve. But the best part isn't even the top speed, it's the torque. Hills are where most scooters get exposed, and this one just doesn't care in the same way. Single motor will still climb, but you can feel it labour a bit and the speed drops off. Switch to dual mode and it is just effortless. And I will say this as well, it doesn't feel sketchy when you push it. Some fast scooters get that little wobble or shimmy when you accelerate hard. This has stayed surprisingly composed. Hills are not a problem for this thing in dual mode. Now the big question is obviously range. The battery is 52 volts, 20.8 amp. On paper, they claim up to 70 kilometers. In reality, and this is where you need to be honest, range depends entirely on how you ride. If you ride in dual mode, full power, lots of acceleration, hills, and you're using high speed, you will not see 70 kilometers. In my kind of riding, I'd say a realistic expectation is more like 40 to 50 kilometers depending on terrain and how aggressive you are. If you stick to single motor mode and ride more calmly, you can stretch it further. But if you buy a dual motor scooter like this and then ride it like a slow commuter, you're kind of missing the point. So I'd probably frame it like this. The battery is big enough that it feels usable for proper rides, but don't buy it expecting the headline number unless you ride conservatively. So overall, I certainly get why people rate this scooter. In my experience, the G2 Master feels like a lot of scooter for the money. The dual motor power is properly fun. The suspension actually makes a difference, and it feels stable enough that you're not white knuckling it the whole time. But it's not for everyone. If you need something light, if you're carrying it upstairs, or you want a scooter you can fold and casually lug about, don't buy this. It's big, it's heavy, and it's more small vehicle than commuter gadget. If you want strong acceleration, proper hill climbing, and a scooter that handles rougher ground without feeling sketchy, then yeah, this one makes a lot of sense. What I'd say is go into knowing the trade-offs. weight, charging time, and real-world range. And if you can get over those, it's honestly a seriously fun bit of kit to own.